What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and this is going to be a little bit of a combination video because we got some interesting news today. We actually got a nice new sneak peek, and I ended up putting a post last night asking people to leave me their IGN so I can take a look at their rosters and give them some advice on what they need to do for their accounts. So the first thing we're going to talk about is Loki and this new sneak peek that we have. So let's watch this thing. Quite awesome, my friends. Quite awesome. So Loki's getting a new uniform, which really, I think it might be surprising for some people. It might not be for others. I mean, we did get uniforms for, the WandaVision show. We did get uniforms for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So it really doesn't come as no surprise that we're going to get one for Loki. But a lot of people really didn't know because this uniform right here was actually already pretty damn strong. It gave him chain hit damage. It gave him a 6-second immunity. It gave him 50% all attack on his fourth skill. It gave him, a damage proc by 50% for 2 attacks on his fifth skill. Gave him all defense down. Gave him process supplies world boss. I mean, he had a lot of goodness in this uniform. It's actually quite powerful. Unfortunately, I never did buy it because at the time, whenever this uniform showed up, I just didn't have the funds to be able to queue this thing up. And right now, it looks like I'm going to be in the same situation because I just tier 3 Doctor Doom. So I don't have any universal books. Used all of my resources to level him up. So it looks like I'm going to be sitting in the dark again, once again for Loki. I'll probably be able to buy his new uniform, but that'll be about it, unfortunately. But we'll see. We'll see. When you're pretty much playing the game free to play, it does take a bit of time to farm up resources. But, I mean, I'm not complaining. That's just the way it is. But this uniform is actually quite strong. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do for Loki. I hope they make him freaking insane in World Boss Legend because he was already really, really good in ABX. He's quite strong. But in World Boss Legend, nobody seemed to really be using him. He really didn't get talked about a whole lot there. So that's what I'd like to see for him. Or maybe just be a PvP god. But I don't know if they'll do that for him or not. It's hard telling what they're going to do for the character. And then there's the other thing where, because it's going to be based off the Loki show, we could be getting a Sylvie character. We could be getting other versions of Loki, the alligator version. That would be freaking amazing. I'd freaking laugh my butt off if we got that. I mean, there's all kinds of different routes they could go with this. So I'm actually really interested to see what they're going. They showed 2 different uniforms in that sneak peek, right? They showed him in his TVA uniform, and then they showed the other version of Loki, where he looks more traditional. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm really excited for Loki, even though I don't really have the resource to level him up. But really, really excited for him and excited for all the player base. So now let's jump into some roster reviews. Okay, so my man Hernan Laderez here has prioritized ABX. He says he doesn't have a lot of CTP of Rages, but he does have CTP of Judgment, CTP of Energy, and he would like to know some characters that can actually reach that 7 million mark using a CTP of Energy or a CTP of Judgment. So obviously, Mephisto definitely is going to be one of them. Let's scroll down here. Apocalypse, definitely. You already got a CTP of Judgment on him. Really interesting question, asking about energies and judgments in ABX. Actually, Corvus here can actually reach 7 million with a CTP of energy. I've done it on my account, actually. Let's see here. And then Beta Ray Bill can absolutely do it on a Universal Superhero Day. Of course, Moonstone. I don't know about Doctor Doom. I don't know if he can or not, to be perfectly honest. I'm not really sure. Let me see here. Scroll down here. Your Ghost Rider can absolutely hit 7 million with a CTP of Judgment. No problem. I guarantee he can do it. He's freaking monstrous. So from what I can tell, really Ghost Rider is the only one you really have available to slap a CTP of Judgment on to break that 7 million marker. I mean, he'll do amazing with it. That's what I run on. That's what I've always ran on him. I can get over 8 million on my account, no problem with Ghost Rider. He's a freaking monstrous character. And you have I mean, yeah, you got plenty of energy attack, no problem. So if you slap a CTB of Judgment on Ghost Rider, you'll be able to hit 7 million with him for sure. Okay, so Patrick here wants to know how he can build a stronger account for World Boss Legend and Giant Boss Raid. And the first thing I'm going to look at is your card sets, and I can definitely tell that you need to be replacing this card right here. If we look at your card effects, your ignored defense is lacking a little bit. You really would like to have that around 30 to 35%. That would be much, much better. You obviously definitely want to try to increase your attack stats, your energy, your physical, your all attack. Your cooldown looks really good, so that's actually really good to see. And it is nice that you got that physical attack proc. But what I would suggest is you would try to replace this Gwenpool card with another P card. That would be one thing I would definitely ask you to do. The next thing I would tell you to do is keep working on your Luna card and your Cable card. Those are two extremely amazing cards for PvE. And once you get 3 blue stars on one of those cards, I mean, right now, I mean, whether it's the Luna or the Cable card, whichever one you decide to work on, try to get 3 blue stars on them so that way you can get 2% Pierce. Once you get 2% Pierce, you're going to be able to do so much better in World Boss Legend and Giant Boss Raid that it's not even going to be funny. You will do so much better. That ignore defense won't even matter whenever you start having some Pierce on your account. That's going to make the biggest difference on your account as far as doing damage to World Boss Legend and Giant Boss Raid. All right, so Pedro here is trying to push World Boss Legend. He wants to know what he can change on his cards. Dude, your cards look insane. How much Pierce do you have? You have insane. You have 25% Pierce. Seriously, bro. Are you trolling me? This is insane. Look at your energy attack and your all attack. Dude, like, you really could use a little bit more physical attack if I was going to nitpick at your account a little bit. But man, this looks nuts. This is an amazing looking account. And you say you play Null every single day. I mean, you have Null, you have Odin, you have Cable at tier 3. What's your Cable look like? Oh yeah, CTP of Energy. I mean, really, honestly, when I look at an account like this, I really don't think people really need that much help, to be perfectly honest. You got a pretty stacked setup. I see you don't even have an obelisk on Deadpool. Totally understand. I get it. I don't think I do either, to be perfectly honest with you. You know, you got your Sharon Rogers, Ghost Rider here. You haven't worked on Mephisto, man. You really should be working on Mephisto. Get him leveled up. He is freaking insane. Super Giant, wonderful. You got a CTP of Judgment, an Overdrive set. I mean, everything looks really, really solid as far as your characters. I mean, your account is stacked, my friend. Your account is stacked. Tier 3 Falcon, that would probably definitely help your quest against Null. He would be freaking insane. Silk would be a good choice. Falcon would be insane. He really is freaking monstrous. And Doctor Doom. Do you have Doctor Doom at tier 3? Let's take a look here. Yeah, okay. So for Null, I definitely would be tier 3ing Doctor Doom. Keep working on him. And I'd probably tier 3 Falcon. Okay, so Eric here is a PvP/PvE oriented player. He tries to have a good balance of both of them. And he wants to know if he should try to add more Pierce on his account or if he should just try to save and wait for another card. And as far as your card effects, you have 31% HP, which is really good, especially for PvP. You got 10% Pierce, which is actually really, really nice. Your attack stats look good. I mean, these cards actually look really, really good. Your cooldown's actually at 38%, so you got more than enough cooldown. In all honesty, the Black Widow card is actually really good for PvP, and so is this Gwenpool card. So if you're just trying to keep a balance of what you're doing here as far as PvP and PvE, I would probably just keep rolling with what you have. I would probably just try to get more Pierce on your account with the cards that you already have. If you want to wait for another card to play it safe, you could just keep working on your White Fox card, your Guardians of the Galaxy card, or your Cable card. Those are going to be PvE oriented, or you can just work on the Black Widow card or the Gwenpool card, which is more PvP oriented. It really depends on your goals in the game, but that would be my advice to you. Now, Morgan here, he just wants me to take a look at his Wolverine. So we'll take a look at this Wolverine here. And whoa. Now, this is somebody that loves Wolverine. Look at this. Even has a mighty CTP of energy on this guy, on top of stacked Odin's Blessings, fully awake Power Ranger Hulk set, mythic uniform. I mean, he is jacked. Shout out to you, buddy, for putting this much love in Wolverine. I mean, he's a character that absolutely deserves it. It's just a shame that Marvel just didn't give him the uniform that he actually deserves. But man, I bet your Wolverine can actually do some pretty good damage. Let me look at your cards. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. 25% Pierce. I bet he does pretty well. Pretty well, man. Shout out to you, brother. That's freaking awesome. So Valentine here wants to know if he should build Mephisto, Daredevil, War Machine, Supergiant, or Cole. And he says he's lacking in ABX. He can clear it all 5 times. But should he buy the Fantastic Four Deluxe Pack so that way he can get Doom? Because Doom seems like such a meta. Well, as far as the Deluxe Pack for Doom, I mean, Doom is insane. He's good everywhere. He's a freaking, I mean, he's pretty much over the top in all game modes, whether it's Dispatch Mission, whether it's ABX. He's going to be good in ABX. I don't know if he's going to be a meta there, but he's going to be good. He's amazing in War Boss Legend, top tier. PvP, he's top tier. He's just an insane character. So it's up to you whether or not you want to spend that money on the Fantastic Four Deluxe Pack to be able to get him a little bit quicker. That's completely up to you. As far as the characters that you should build for ABX, you mentioned Supergiant and Mephisto. Those are going to be the 2 big ones as far as ABX is concerned. And Mephisto definitely is an amazing choice for ABX. However, Supergiant you can actually use twice. You can use her on Female Supervillain Day, and you can use her on Universal Supervillain Day. So it'd actually be better if you're trying to conserve on your resources to just work on Supergiant and actually transcend her, because she is an insane character. Give her a CTP of Judgment. You could give her a Rage. I think you'd be better off with a Judgment, to be perfectly honest, on the girl. She would be awesome. Keep working on your Mephisto, and you'll be good to go, because Mephisto is the god when it comes to Blast Villain Day, and Supergiant is also a god as well. So here we have Raymond, who's a free-to-play player, and he wants to know what characters he should build and what CTPs he should have. Now, being that you're free-to-play, I imagine that it's gonna be a while before you're gonna be able to get this guy all the way leveled up. But this is a character you should keep working on. Mephisto's insane, and a CTP of Judgment for him. And then, okay, good. You got a CTP of Judgment on Johnny. And Cable, I mean, again, he's another, a character that you really want to take to tier 3, but he does use a lot of feathers and crystals, or Macron crystals. So I think he'd be a good candidate for you to level up. And plus, with the Kid Cable uniform, he's just nuts, right? Wait till it's on sale. You could go ahead and queue that thing up. Rogue's actually, a much cheaper, a very good tier 3 that you can use, especially for Mephisto. She's actually quite strong in her new uniform. She does really, really well against him. Great survivability, easy to play. CTP of Judgment for her. Scarlet, Scarlet's going to be an ABX character that you could use with a Rage or a CTP of Judgment. Mr. Fantastic, I mean, in his new uniform, he's actually quite strong. I personally think that he can play well with a CTP of Energy. A lot of people would argue that and say that a Rage would be best. Cyclops for a support. And those are just some suggestions. I mean, you could build Ben Grimm. I saw you had Human Torch Transcended. You could build Ben Grimm to have that nice extra attack buff and increase the boss types. If you have the new uniform for Ben, for Human Torch, that really makes a difference for him. I mean, you could build Iron Man. You could build Vision. You could build Iron Man. If you build Hulkbuster, I mean, you're going to have to buy 2 different uniforms, it looks like, and then transcend one and then tier 3 the other. But Iron Man really does become a real big monster whenever you have Hulkbuster's leadership. So those are just a few suggestions for you. Okay, so Eleanor here, he has a problem with his cards where he has a Guardians of the Galaxy card that's completely crafted, but if he puts that card in here, he's going to lose cooldown. So if I look at your cooldown, you have 30%. Okay. So what you got to do, bud, is either your Baby Spider card or your White Fox card, try to roll cooldown where the stars are at. The second from the bottom star, you can actually roll the cooldown where that critical rate's at on this one here. You can actually roll that to cooldown. So I try to roll that to cooldown either on this card or I try to roll cooldown on this card. Once you do that, then you can put in the Guardians of the Galaxy card. And you said you have a CTP of Energy. You got 2 CTPs of Insight. You say you use Sharon Rogers, who has a pretty nice looking build here. And you have the Hawkeye set on her. Okay. And you use Star-Lord with her. So I imagine you're using him for the leadership. You can put one of your CTP Insights on Star-Lord because you really don't have your Star-Lord built really that well. His gears are just at 20. I'm pretty sure you're just using him for a leadership. So you could just put the one CTP of Insight on him to make things a little bit easier. As far as you're clear with Sharon Rogers, you say you have a CTP of Energy. You could give a CTP of Energy to Beta Ray Bill. He's absolutely nutso with that thing. In fact, I'd rather have a CTP of Energy on Beta Ray Bill than having a CTP of Judgment. He's quite nuts with that damn thing. So that'd be a couple suggestions for you. You say you want to put a Rage on Thor. That's absolutely the right decision considering you don't have a lot of peers. As far as your patience and your eggs, you just want to put those on characters you don't really play with, just using Shadowland for the most part. Those obelisks are pretty much obsolete at this point in the game. And as far as the CTP of Authority, character that you could give it to, I mean, Doom would be a good choice if you had Doom. I mean, there are a couple characters that, can work with it. Quicksilver, if you had Quicksilver, but really with your roster, I probably wouldn't worry about equipping those things to anybody at this given time. You do have a CTP of Energy. Actually, if you ever level up Johnny and get his new uniform, actually he can play well with a CTP of Energy. He would be better with a CTP of Judgment, but he does play well with a CTP of Energy. So if I didn't do a roster review for you, don't worry. I will continue to do the roster reviews in future videos. And let me know what you're all thinking about Loki. I mean, are you excited that Loki's getting a new uniform? I mean, I think it's awesome. Again, I'm not going to be able to level him up, but still really excited for old boy, the Prince of Mischief. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See ya.